want to just note that if it ends up being that we just go 6 to 10 every night, I don't think that's necessarily productive, because I just think we don't have that much bandwidth for that. My brain stops.
No, absolutely, I agree, and that's these last two times when we went to midnight and almost 1 o'clock.
Well, we had so many things on the agenda last week that needed us to just pay attention to them.
Yeah. So why don't we start at 6 and see how that goes? Are you willing to try that for a couple of months and see how it goes? And
how do you announce that to the development community? You know, how does that go out there? Or does it need to?
It's on the agenda.
If anybody knows they're going to go,
on the
we're
website.
going to tell them meeting at 6. And then probably for the first few meetings, you need to say, no, new start time.
Right.
There's a couple forms that have annual meeting dates on them already. We'll get that fixed.
Website has to be updated.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
We'll
a
have
lot
a
of the
new website
communities that we present to have an engineer
Is
either on
there,
the commission or advisory to it at the meeting.
okay, are there any other resources like that that you think we should get
No, probably not.
standing? You know, that it was very helpful when I finally said to Alan, we really need an attorney. We need the city attorney there, and thank you. I know it's
Fine.
nobody likes that extra meeting.
He loves the entertainment.
But it's
Yeah,
been
that's it.
very, very helpful to have him here.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get engineering. So that's, I really don't have any other updates unless you have specific questions about previous projects.
Just a quick comment on how some other municipalities do it, and I have a ton of experience, but I've been through Cudahy, Greenfield, Germantown, Racine, where the development department presents the project, and the developer and architect are sort of just sitting there and just waiting for questions, and the city and the staff actually take a pretty firm position, we like this project, we promote it, or here's the project, here are the issues, and they sort of, I don't know, I think it sort of pacifies the audience. It really keeps comments to a minimum. It's like, well, staff has vetted it, the city's vetted it, they want it. It's almost a rubber stamp, and then the commission just kind of well, what about this landscaping, this and this? I don't like that brick. I don't like, and it's totally different. So I
appreciate that.
But Mickey, isn't that where the commission is actually weighing in on the design elements though too?
Sure.
Oak Creek is like that.
Yeah.
Where
Of course.
They don't have an ARB. So
I think West Dallas.
Brookfield doesn't have an ARB. It's all in one. Which is good and bad. I mean, I feel sometimes uncomfortable, probably because it's what I do,
Yeah.
that it goes to ARB and it's, then it's already gone.
Right.
But I know the other side of that coin where I've been stuck in approvals in Brookfield for several meetings too, trying to work through one person really with a strong opinion. So there's pros and cons. I don't know. Oak Creek, I guess, is I think a relevant example. They do exactly what you're talking about. Staff really drives it.
It does, right? And there's not this mob mentality, fervor at these meetings, and they're far more productive. But maybe this city wants that input. They want the city to form land use and project. I'm just posing it for this, just my experience, and I'm sure you've got far more than I do, being in front of developing projects, and
there's a lot of variety. I think as long as the rules of engagement are clear to whoever's coming in front of the commission, I think that's what's most important to at least guys like me. The development community, I think, is doing so much behind the scenes typically that we're just there generally either to present or answer questions.
Just to be devil's advocate, I guess I gotta add, Tammy, you've taken a very different approach to this than our prior development director. So had we been in a different situation and our prior development director was responsible for bringing everything forward and making a recommendation to the staff person, it would be a very different meeting with a strong opinion on the part of that staff person. Whereas I think we really get a pretty strong opinion from the community. So the way we do it is
Some of it's just the way things are turning.
What?
Some of it's still just the way things are turning in the community and the environment.
It could be, but you know what I'm saying? Do you understand my point? I think it would be very different with Nancy running this than you. So it does get, well, I don't, but
Okay.
my point is nothing to do with who the person is.
Okay,
But my point is that puts a lot of power in the,
One person
in the
says
staff.
In the staff.
And
Well,
we
we
want
get
that.
weigh in from all the
I don't know whether that's
departments.
good or not, but
well,
I
but
just-
she does, the way we've got it set up right now, there's weigh-in from all the different departments.
Yeah,
It's more than
So
zoning. It's
it's a-
usually not
it's
even
a
a zoning
collective.
issue anymore.
Yeah,
It's-
right,
They're engineering
right.
issues now, lately.
right.
Well, let's start out with a baby step. Start at 6 o'clock.
I actually think we took beyond a baby step tonight by explicitly stating that we're going to narrow our discussion to just deliberation next week. And I encourage the commission to do that more going forward.
I agree.
And
And
then-
yes, we've talked
And we
about
can
We do a lot of
encourage
repeat.
people, we can
Because
encourage people to
otherwise-
send in every email you want, we'll read them,
Yep.
send in whatever comments you want to Tammy.
But we're not gonna have a
but
public
we
comment
can't-
more than once.
We can't get work
Yeah.
done if we have to have
the
an
same.
hour of
The same comments made by
I
20
agree.
people.
The same thing.
The same 20 people, and I want to hear from them. I do.
He's nodding.
But, right.
The same
Yeah.
for.
And I'm glad, I mean, I don't recall I'm wrapping up 4 years on the plan commission, that we've done that before. And they weren't upset about it. One woman was nodding in the front, nodding that she wants us to have more deliberation when I was saying that. That she was encouraged that we were going to say, okay, we hear you, but you want us to work, and you can't have us work when we have to.
That was
sit
a
with
huge
them.
productive step. You're right.
Yeah, and I think we should consider that more
More
going
often,
forward.
yeah.
And of course, you have the first meeting where you have to take the comment, and if you hold it though, I don't think it's wrong to say, we're going to hold it, and we are going to ask them to come back, we're going to narrow what they're going to present on coming back, and we're going to kindly ask that you just submit your comments in writing, so that we can actually focus on that. We may solve a lot of our problems by doing that, by being a little more narrow.
I don't know if that's ever been.
I think there have been a few things in the past, maybe not here as much as at council committees, they've done more of that, where after 4 times of having a huge public hearing, they'll go to, we just need to have a meeting where we're going to talk, and we're not taking public comment,
Yeah.
because it gets out of control. But
It's good to know we can.
you have that power. You got to remember that they still have the right to comment, and if there are significant changes, you probably want to invite some comment on the changes.
Yeah, I was thinking.
It's gone from 5 stories to 3 stories, and the public maybe they're happy with it now. And they come and say, or they come and say, that's not enough. I mean, you want to be open to having some of that comment to address the changes, but maybe you would limit the topics of public comment
Maybe
too.
we ask it. Is there anyone that was previously opposed that is now
No.
supportive? You know, because I was thinking about that. What if they have this
Change.
come to Jesus meeting, so to speak, and they make some significant changes? Because I think they are close from my point of view. I just am kind of hung up on the same issues that we talked about. But what if they did that, then, and we've shut that down, I guess, is that something we could at least ask?
You can ask for a limited version of comment or limited
Because you can see what
topics.
comes in.
Because we're going to face some other areas in the city that are going to go through this again. Whether it's the county grounds, what remains of it, behind the power plant, that I could see 3 or 4 public meetings. So
Well,
I think that's vehicle
whoever made the point that
exploring.
we're a built-up community and it's getting harder and harder, we don't have a lot of room to do unlimited development.
No, these are good problems that people want to build here and they want
Yeah.
to create vibrancy in our village. I think we do have to leverage the very best project we can get on this piece of
On
land.
that piece, yes.
And
I'm not sure.
architecturally, I'm not sure we're there yet.
My view. Is that, I'm
Well, I
not
think
sure
that's
you do
the
their
fair
view of it.
Thank you for saying that, because we're still got that disparity of people who want everything to resemble whatever elements of the village they think
I
they...
think high quality design,
You're talking about materials or design?
materials, detailing,
Okay.
I think you can have a really nice contemporary expression and it fits. I'm not sure this building's there.
call me crazy, maybe everybody else here wants to stay in a house forever, but my husband and I don't want to stay in a house forever.
Oh, no,
And
I
the
wanna
tax
move into
code just
something like
changed to
I don't.
support me on that.
That's
You know what I
right.
mean? So like, it's a good decision for people to financially not own a house in a state like Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So there are going to be more and more people wanting to do that. We've got an aging society, and I don't particularly care to go live down on the east side. We might live downtown, but there are not a lot of developments for people like us. You know, and we've had friends that have moved into the community that live at the Echelon, and they love it. But there's not a lot. I mean, it's-
Yeah, but if it's a one-bedroom or a studio, that's not going to appeal to people.
That's what Jody and I are fighting. We're fighting over the
I
corner
love a
two-bedroom.
three-bedroom. I love a three-bedroom apartment. And the Wauwatosa, do you remember the Wauwatosa that live in our neighborhood? They moved in this lovely townhouse development on the east side, on the river. It was a very subtle, understated, in an old neighborhood, just like ours, that there were like a bunch of these. It was an apartment development, but they weren't huge scale. They were townhomes. And they were lovely, you know, but they couldn't find anything like that.
I think there's a 3-bedroom unit in the State Street Station.
Yeah.
I think
For
that
the
rented the
price
first
range.
day they went open. I think that rented out the first day they
There
went
was
on
one.
market and it was done.
Right?
Yeah,
They better read that out the first day, right?
that was the first thing they rented.
I bet, and I bet you, and there's only one, right? Right, so,
Okay, Tammy has one more question.
As long as we're still on the topic,
right.
you can get back to me. I kind
Doctors who buy
maybe
those
we'll
places.
regret opening up this question, but
Had a,
at some point, we want to look at revising the PUD process anyways, and that we've been through it for a few years. Those have been on the commission. If you want to send me comments about suggestions on how you'd like to see better plans, I don't, whatever, it's open. I can't think anymore.
More specific details about
More
what needs to be
details that
done.
you want. I mean, and we have to also look at application timing. Right now, it's a 3-week turnaround from the time we get an application to the time it hits you guys. That's partly why it's a little thin at times. So it's, everything's up for change, so if you want to start thinking about it and get back to me with, it's not going to happen tomorrow. I've been waiting for some breathing room, haven't had any.
I think your
Undertake
detail's
that.
good.
What?
I think your detail in the packages is great. I do.
I mean, I know a lot of the issues that come up are traffic.
Yeah. And these
And it's
PUDs
a valid concern.
These PUDs are complex. I mean, look at the one at San Camilo. Look at this one tonight. I mean,
On the other hand,
You know.
city staff, at least in the past, we've tried to balance, because there's obviously a lot of cost up front for developers to put lots of plans
Sure.
together, for no
Right.
guarantee that anything's gonna happen, which is why we do the preliminary plan and the final plan, where they have to come back with specific conditions, but now it's getting more complex with public input and everything, and it's good, but we've gotta find that balance.
gonna
Or
save you
improve
some
it.
work down the road though too. As long as
Right.
you get it right in the forefront, right?
Right, well, it depends, but just things to ponder. So if you wanna send me your thesis on how we can change things, we'll take it.
There's no perfect way to do it. Communities are different.
But limit it to,
How many
Twitter,
characters do I get?
200 characters.
Yeah, right?